I was driving across country with my mom and sister when I was 16 and my sister was 20. It was late, but we were all rested still and alert. We were driving along an interstate and needed gas and a bathroom break, so we stopped at the only rest stop in 200 miles. There was a van full of teenagers on a road trip at the gas station, as well as a small grey car parked at the pump in front of us with two young men standing still outside of it. When we got there, everything felt wrong. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night and had never been afraid until then. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. I heard the teenagers say they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work and they left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us and the two men had not moved at all, not an inch. They weren't talking, they weren't on phones, they were just standing there still as stone. My sister and mom came running back out to the car, and when they got in, the two men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies, and I swear to fucking shit. We all saw the same thing. They had eyes dark as pitch and empty, truly empty. Not black, not reflecting any light at all, just a void. The two men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies, and I swear to fucking shit, we all saw the same thing. They had eyes dark as pitch and empty, truly empty, not black, not reflecting any light at all. Just a void. We sped out of there and didn't stop until we were in the next city. The worst thing about the entire experience, we couldn't find the place on any map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look, and we couldn't find it on Google Maps or any paper map we had. We even asked locals about the creepy gas station about on that stretch of road and got only confused looks. We have traveled on that interstate since, and there is no rest stop. When I was 37, I went to my high school reunion. I flew into the nearest airport and rented a car. The distance was about 35 miles through a very rural and almost abandoned part of the country. About 3 miles outside of the town, I see someone on the side of the road flagging me down. It turned out that it was one of the guys I had attended school with, Jim. Not his name, gets in the car and we start talking. I had not seen him in 20 years, but he still looked the same, maybe a little older. We get to town and I ask him if he wants to come to the VFW and have a drink. He says no, just take me home. Jim's parents had lived only a few blocks from my grandmother's house, and I turned in that direction, but he said to take him to the outskirts of town. There was a mobile home park out there, and I figured that is where he lived. When we reached the end of the turn off, he said, just drop me here. It was good to see you again, and he walks off into the night. I go to the VFW, met some of my old classmates. We start to talk. As we are talking about who is coming to the reunion, I mentioned that I had just picked him up 3 miles east of town and had dropped him off. Everyone gets quiet. Even the guy singing karaoke stops and lays down the mic. My cousin goes white as a new t-shirt. Bob, Jim died on that curve 8 years ago, rolled his car. We were all at his funeral. I was told. I started to feel really dizzy and I went out to the car to take some deep breaths. There on the seat is local newspaper, printed 8 years previous containing Jim's obituary. I still have the paper. Fear gripped me in its icy embrace as the room plunged into darkness, the faint glow of the moon extinguished by an unseen force. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat a frantic drumming against the silence that enveloped me. With trembling hands, I fumbled for the light switch, desperate for even the faintest glimmer of illumination to pierce the shadows. But as the room flooded with light, I was met with a sight that defied comprehension. There, standing before me, was a figure cloaked in darkness, its features obscured by an ethereal mist that seemed to dance and swirl with a life of its own. I froze my mind, struggling to process the impossibility of what stood before me, a ghost, a spectre, a being from beyond the veil of mortality. Time seemed to stand still as we regarded each other, locked in a silent exchange that transcended words. There was a sadness in those spectral eyes, a longing that spoke of a life cut short and a soul denied its rest. I felt a pang of empathy, a desire to reach out and offer solace to this lost spirit wandering the earthly plane. But before I could speak, the apparition faded into the darkness, leaving me alone once more with only the echo of its presence lingering in the air. I sat there, stunned and bewildered by the encounter, grappling with the reality of what I had just experienced. Was it a trick of the mind, a hallucination brought on by exhaustion and stress? Or had I truly come face to face with a ghost from beyond the grave?